What would happen if immigrants stopped working in the UK? Imagine waking up in the UK on a normal weekday. You head out to a GP appointment, hop on a bus, or stop by a shop. Everything seems routine, until you notice the people who normally keep those services running are missing. What would happen if immigrants stopped working in the UK? This video respectfully explores the impact that foreign-born workers have on the everyday life of Britain. Not through opinion, but through data, facts, and real-life consequences that show how deeply interconnected modern British life has become with the contributions of immigrant labour. Healthcare would feel the strain. The National Health Service is one of the UK's most respected institutions, but few realise just how much it depends on its foreign-born staff. As of June 2023, over 264,822 NHS workers in England, about 18.7%, were non-British nationals. By September 2023, that share had risen to 20.4%. Included in that figure were approximately 36% of doctors and 30% of nurses. Without these professionals, the consequences would be immediate. Hospital wards would face staff shortages, general practice appointments would become harder to secure, and emergency rooms would grow increasingly overwhelmed. Long-standing issues in healthcare delivery would be worsened considerably. Immigrants working in the NHS include individuals from countries such as India, Nigeria, the Philippines, and various EU nations. They work not only as doctors and nurses, but also as porters, lab technicians, administrative staff, and support workers. If this section of the workforce were to vanish, the NHS would struggle to meet even basic care demands. Public transport would slow down. Across Britain, the buses, trains, and taxis that help people move every day are supported heavily by immigrant workers. In London alone, 39.2% of transport for London's operational staff are from ethnic minority backgrounds, many of whom are foreign-born. That figure rises even more sharply in the private transport sector. 94% of all private hire vehicle drivers in the capital come from immigrant or ethnic minority communities. The absence of this workforce would create gridlock, reduce available services, and put added pressure on an already stretched transport system. Services like the London Underground, National Rail, and bus routes in Manchester, Birmingham, and Glasgow would all experience severe disruptions. Transport doesn't only connect places, it connects lives. Immigrant workers are integral to the UK's ability to keep its population moving, especially in major metropolitan areas where public transport is essential for daily life and economic stability. The food chain would be disrupted. Food systems in the UK are deeply reliant on immigrant labour at every stage. From farms to packaging facilities, lorries to retail shelves, foreign-born workers handle vital tasks. In 2023, around 33,000 people participated in the UK's seasonal worker scheme, predominantly filling roles in agriculture. But the sector actually requires up to 60,000 seasonal workers annually, most of whom come from Eastern Europe and Central Asia. If these workers were unavailable, farms would be unable to harvest crops at the scale needed. Fields would be left unpicked, and perishable goods would spoil. Food processing facilities would operate below capacity, and the delivery of fresh produce to retailers would slow significantly. Supermarkets, especially those in rural or smaller communities, would face shortages within days. Prices of fresh goods would rise due to scarcity. While food imports could offer some relief, the UK would experience a direct and immediate hit to domestic food production capacity without its immigrant workforce. Hospitality and customer service would be greatly affected. Restaurants, cafes, hotels, and event venues across the UK rely heavily on immigrant workers to operate smoothly. In cities such as London and Manchester, a substantial percentage of chefs, waiters, baristas, cleaners, and reception staff were born outside the UK. Many came to Britain for opportunities in customer-facing industries, where labour shortages have been ongoing for years. The impact of their absence would be instantly visible. Restaurants might close earlier or operate fewer days per week. Hotel rooms could go uncleaned, and service delays would frustrate both domestic customers and international visitors. This would not only affect daily comfort and convenience, but also tourism, a significant sector of the British economy. Many local businesses, particularly in seaside towns and heritage cities, would see income fall due to the operational challenges caused by staffing shortages. Construction would slow down significantly. The construction sector is another part of the UK economy that would feel an immediate hit. As of 2017, 13.9% of construction workers in the UK were born outside the country. In cities like London, that figure is notably higher, from house building and roadworks to public infrastructure like schools and hospitals. Many of the projects people rely on each day are built by immigrant workers. If this workforce were to vanish, timelines would extend, costs would rise, and the backlog of critical development projects would worsen. This would also exacerbate the ongoing housing crisis, as fewer homes would be built at a time when demand continues to grow. The national economy would feel this through slower growth and unmet planning targets. The economy would face a noticeable impact. Immigrant workers are more than just participants in the economy. They are key contributors to its growth. According to the Migration Observatory, 82% of working-age migrant men are employed, compared to 78% of UK-born men. In sectors such as cleaning, retail and logistics, around 21% of workers were non-UK nationals, based on 2016 data. These workers pay taxes, support local businesses, and reduce skill shortages across many industries. A sudden absence would mean lower productivity, reduced consumer spending, and lost tax revenue. The impact would be especially significant for small businesses, which rely on flexible, experienced staff to operate cost-effectively. The Treasury would likely feel the pinch quickly. With fewer people in work, national insurance contributions and income tax receipts would fall, affecting public sector budgets. The role of immigrants in supporting the tax base is essential, especially given the UK's ageing population and growing demand for healthcare and pensions. Adult social care would be under pressure. Caring for older people and those with long-term health conditions is one of the most challenging and important jobs in the UK, and one of the most reliant on immigrant labour. As of 2022, around 24% of the adult social care workforce in England, roughly 250,000 people, were non-British nationals. These carers work in residential homes, supported living settings, and private residences. Their responsibilities include helping people with mobility, preparing meals, administering medication, and offering emotional support. Many have built long-term careers in the UK's care sector, forming bonds with those they support and helping their clients maintain independence and dignity. Without them, the system would face immense challenges. Families would struggle to find care providers. Elderly people might wait longer for assistance or lose access to critical services. The UK's care infrastructure, already stretched, would find itself at risk of collapse. Everyday services would be interrupted. From the bins being collected to your next online delivery, immigrant workers are involved in countless services that people depend on daily. They work in warehouses, sorting parcels. They clean public buildings and transport stations. They stock supermarket shelves, serve in corner shops, and help ensure health and safety in public spaces. If this workforce vanished overnight, the small comforts and conveniences of daily life would erode quickly. Deliveries would be delayed, offices and schools might not be cleaned properly, shops could face staffing gaps during peak hours. These may not be life-threatening disruptions, but they would significantly affect the quality of everyday life. Rural communities would be especially affected. Immigration's impact is often discussed in the context of cities, but many rural areas across the UK are equally, if not more, dependent on foreign-born workers. In towns and villages where the population is ageing and younger residents move away, immigrants take on roles that sustain local services and businesses. This includes working on farms, running convenience stores, delivering care, and supporting hospitality venues. In regions like Cumbria, Norfolk, and parts of Wales and Scotland, these workers help maintain economic stability and social cohesion. Without them, rural communities would face a steep decline in access to vital services. Shops might reduce hours or shut completely. Farms could face closure. Local councils would struggle to maintain care facilities and cleaning services. The ripple effect would be felt by entire communities. Higher education and research would face setbacks. Immigrants also make a substantial contribution to the UK's academic and research excellence. Nearly 30% of academic staff in UK universities are foreign nationals. They lead research teams, write publications, supervise students, and teach across all disciplines. Their absence would set back vital projects, reduce academic diversity, and limit the UK's global competitiveness in higher education. Courses might be cancelled or reduced. Universities could lose international partnerships or research funding. Students, both local and international, would have fewer learning opportunities. Beyond teaching, many international students also take on part-time work in service roles, contributing both intellectually and economically to British communities. If immigrants stopped working in the UK, daily life would change fast. The NHS, public transport, food supply, construction, and social care would all suffer. But beyond numbers and roles, their presence reflects commitment, contribution, and community. The UK doesn't just benefit from immigrants, it depends on them. Thank you for watching this video. Please don't forget to subscribe and turn on the notification bell.